It is time for a live mock draft. And not only is it time to do a live mock draft, we got Swole Purdy out here, baby. Woo! We got number changes. Mitch Wishnowski going with a new number. Oh boy. But what we are going to do, a main focus of this particular show, is going to be doing the live mock draft and more so trying to identify mid round gems, trying to find that next George Kittle, Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Talanoa Hufanga, Jair Brown, trying to find those guys in kind of rounds 3 through 5, 2 through 5, who we can add to this San Francisco 49ers roster and could potentially not only be a long-term impact, but could be an impact right now. So that's what we are going to do. Get your from a throwback from last year, get your mock mustaches ready because it's time to do a live mock draft, baby. You already know what to do, though. Drop an SDS in the chat if you're rocking with the Brad Gang, and smash that like button. Let's get into some live mock drafting right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Yes, sir. We are back in the building. What is going down? Sourdough Squad. Let's go. We're in here. What is good? Shout out to SDS. This is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to getting. To be honest, I don't think I've done a mock draft actually since we did our live mock draft. So I'm actually going to be switching it up. We're going to be using the PFF simulator this time because it gets us a different look at the board. Their boards are much different than, like, let's say PFN. So we're going to do a PFF mock draft live, and we might got some things to talk about. Bullard, we going safety at 63. Could be. We'll see how the board shakes out, and we'll see how it all plays out. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. Is Brock Purdy out here? We're going to have to start calling Brock Purdy Swole Purdy, man. Brock Purdy out here trying to sheesh. We're gonna have to start calling him Baby Bosa or something. Those quads be quadding. Obviously these photos went viral that were taken. Aaron Berkshire. Shout out to Aaron. He's been working with Brock Purdy and all that good stuff down there in Florida. And man, you got Brock out here looking like Swole Purdy. I thought this particular photo was pretty powerful because you see the scar from the UCL surgery, and man, just to me, I saw it was the first time I've seen his actual UCL surgery scar. And I was like, damn, man, that dude had surgery and was back on the field throwing in 2 months or less than 2 months, dude. Brock is him, man. You already know the vibes. We don't accept any Brock Purdy slander around here, but the continued vibes that this guy brings to the table, He's him, man. He's franchise, not even close. Justin said Brock lifting hay bales. Man, apparently this is what happens to your form, your body when you're out here shucking corn and you're out there in the fields doing the dirty work, out here tending to the cattle. Yeehaw! Let's go, Brock. Bro's out here. I don't know what I don't even know enough about farming to be able to like he's well I don't know. I don't even know. What do farmers do outside of just working their tails off from sun up to sundown, tending to the fields, to the cattle, to the goats? Man, dude's working. But shout out to Brock, man. Good to see our guy out here vibing. Love to see it. Also, too, Mitch Wishnowski rocking the number 3. This is Mitch Wishnowski's 3rd jersey change as a San Francisco 49er. I guess that's kind of typical when you're a punter sometimes. You know, either someone wants your number, and you're just like, all right, whatever. I just don't see Mitch Wishnowski as a guy who really cares all that much. But Mitch Wishnowski is now wearing number 3 for the San Francisco 49ers as we head into this upcoming season. Big time breaking news. Honestly, I don't even think we need to talk about the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. Because there's nothing to really talk about. So let's get into the draft, right? That's why we're here. Let's do some mock drafting. Yeah, other than the stuff that was happening with Brandon Aiyuk, through the media and what his agent, again, shooting down another report, BA is in Arizona, grinding still. His offseason program, he's got a team out there in Arizona, and I believe he's in his second phase of his kind of workout progression, where he is now working out with Les Spielman. Shout out to Les, man. Les is actually the guy that when I shot the JJ McCarthy video that went viral and like went all over the place and was like used on Good Morning Football and during the combine, Les was training JJ McCarthy. So I went and chopped it up with Les. But now BA is working with Les, and BA is in great hands. And regardless of what is going on with BA's contract stuff, which again, we don't know what's going on outside of these, bogus rumors and reports. What we do know is BA is working his tail off, and he's with a really, really quality trainer right now. So that's a good sign for BA. That's the BA update that I think we're all been looking for. Is BA's grinding, BA's working, and he has got a great offseason program put together. Based on talking to Les and like what their plans are. I think I don't think we're going to expect any issues with Brandon Aiyuk. We know Brandon Aiyuk shows up to training camp ready to go. So that's where I think we are at. But let's get into the draft. When is the draft? The draft is what, 7 days away, right? I think we're 7 days away. Interesting. That's pretty good. I think we're 7 days. So these mock drafts, they're going to be going away. And we are actually going to be getting the real thing. So let's get into this mock. Of course, we're picking the Niners. I'm just going to throw this right in the middle. Public versus PFF board. Care for positional value. Just going to throw that in the middle. Draft for needs. We'll tip it a little bit. Randomness. Don't necessarily want it to be too random. But so this is what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this. I'm going to make the pick for the most part, but I will definitely be reaching out to my sourdough squad consultants. And this is your opportunity. Like you hear it all the time, right? You got the general manager, he goes around the room, asks the position coach, the scouts, the head coach, if you're gonna bang the table for someone, like you really want me to draft someone, let me know in the chat. Bang the table in the chat for a prospect that potentially is on the board, and see if you can sway me. See if you can convince me that, you know what, the argument that you just made for said player, you're right. We got to go and get them. So that's going to what I'm looking for from your contributions in the chat. I want to see who can sway me into making a selection. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm going to make the executive decision, but I want to see if you can sway me and convince me to go a certain route in this draft. Now, I'm not going to do any trades right now. Let's just see how this whole situation plays out. So I want to actually see what the first round looks like according to PFF. They've got Caleb and Drake, Marvin Harrison going at 3. I would say 0 chance. Jaden Daniels at 11, JJ McCarthy at 12, 0 chance. It's 4 up, 4 down. I would assume that the Patriots are making calls. Apparently, they're open for business. I would also assume that the Cardinals are open for business for a trade back as well. But anyways, that doesn't affect us one way or the other. Quinyon Mitchell, the Toledo quarterback, going at 7. Wow. That's pretty good. Fuaga going at 10, second offensive lineman off the board. Isn't Fashanu. Dang, they got Fashanu fallen at 19. Troy Fautanu at 18. Man, if Troy Fautanu makes it past the Jags, we might be picking up the call. We might be picking up the phone and saying, what is it going to take for us to be able to get that guy? So that could definitely be something that we look for. JC Latham at 20, Jerry Newton. I mean, honestly, if you could get into this range, like we've talked about a trade up, I think, which is a potential option. This to me feels like the ceiling of where you would trade up. So, man, if you could get up here, you could potentially get some quality players. Let's see. Mims is off the board. Barton goes to the Cowboys. That's actually a good fit for the Cowboys. A.D. Mitchell to Green Bay. Nate Wiggins. I've seen Nate Wiggins ranked as the number 1 cornerback in this class. So crazy to see him fall that far. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Jackson Powers Johnson goes at 29. And Lad McConkey at 31, and that puts us on the board. We are officially on the clock. So let's see what our big board is looking like. So we've got Peyton Wilson, Tyler Nubin, Zach Frazier, Mike Sane Restrill has been shooting up the boards. This could be a guy that I could see the 49ers actually really liking, because he has nickel versatility, and from everything that I've seen, he's a pretty quality player. So he's been shooting up the boards. I would imagine Penix is bumped into the first. but we got Jordan Morgan falling out, Tyler Guyton falling out, jeez, Chop Robinson falling out. There's Bullard, right? That's the name that we've heard. So just looking at the board, and again, we are pretending this is our board, even though it's not. I would have to say, based on who is available, I'm either going cornerback or I'm going Chop. I feel like if you get Chop here, which I don't think he will be here, but I've said it all draft season, is that if Chop is there, you got to take him. You have to. Like, what he possesses from raw and tangible physical traits, his first step, get off, all of that. Like, it feels like, man, if he is there at 31 and you can put him behind Leonard Floyd. I still think YGM is going to be a hybrid 3-tech. And honestly, I don't care that he sucks at stopping the run. That's not why I'm drafting him. I'm drafting him for one reason and for one reason only, and that is to rush the passer. That is the reason why I would be taking Chop Robinson, but I will open up the floor to the room and see, is anyone going to make the case for why we should go a different direction? Remember, you can sway me on this mock draft. I'm still going to go with the guy that I think we should take right now, guys. As the general manager of the Sourdough Scouts, I'm telling you, I'm leaning towards Chop Robinson, but I need, we've got the director of Sourdough Scouts in here. We got our regional Sourdough Scouts in here. We got the whole team in here. So if anyone is feeling conviction in anyone who is left on the board, speak up or forever hold your peace. Let's continue to I've seen TJ Tampa mocked in the bottom of the first. Trying to see who else have I seen pop into the first. Look at how far Darius Robinson. I would actually have to say that this guy has been a guy that has been picking up steam as of late. 6'3", 275 pounds. He's a little bit older, but he is productive in regards of being able to rush the passer. 6 sacks last year. His pass rush win rate is at 17.3%, which is pretty darn good. And he has a good run stop rate. So I would say, based on where we are at, I'm leaning defense. Dude, there's some good prospects here. You got Kingsley, you got Brandon Dolores. I think Rook and Brandon, handshake emoji, pick your poison. They're so similar in how they play. Either one of them are probably plug and play 3-techs right away. So those guys are potential starters. The board is Brandon Coleman. Look at Brandon Coleman getting some love. This is a guy I haven't talked about yet, but when I was watching some Senior Bowl stuff, Brandon Coleman stood out to me as a guy that I really liked in pass protection. So, but I was like, we could get him in like the 6th round. No, they got him. They finally updated their rankings. Again, I'm looking, man. I have not looked at their updated rankings here in a while, so I got to see how the board plays out. Okay, I feel like they fixed the rankings. I feel like the rankings feel much more accurate this time around. All right, all right, all right. Let's focus. Let's focus. Let's focus. All right. So for me, I'm still thinking it's either it's either tackle Jordan Morgan, Kingsley Suamataia, Tyler Guyton, or I'm thinking defensive line. Chop Robinson, Chris Jenkins is in consideration. Jenkins is in consideration. Jonah Ellis is in consideration. Might be a little too rich. Robinson hanging out down here. Robinson's probably a little bit low just because he's more of like a Cleveland Farrell type defensive end. Like that's how I would describe him. He's a really good defensive end, but I would say he's like of the Cleveland Farrell type guy. So this is a challenge. All right, let me look at the chat. Is anyone banging the table? Let's see what the chat is talking about. Who's banging the table for someone? I need to see a convincing argument here. I need to see a convincing argument one way or the other. So let me see. I see Guyton need a right tackle and played right tackle superb throughout his career, and OU is known for making offensive linemen. Okay, there's we got one person banging the table. Justin, our director of Sourdough Scouts, says Tyler Nubin is an INT machine. And I've been thinking he's a sleeper pick at 31 and could be a steal because of his RAS score. Okay. I know you've been on Nubin for a while, too. Let's see who else is banging the table. So we got a couple scouts checking in. I see Brandon Dolores is the next Aaron Donald. Oh, jeez. That's interesting. And we got another sourdough scout chiming in saying, I like Dolores, not the next Aaron Donald, but a really good player. Okay. See, this is the type of communication that we want inside our draft room. This is the kind of back and forth we want in our war room, right? I'm going to make the decision, but I need to hear from the sourdough scouts. How are we feeling? You can sway me with a compelling argument, but it needs to be compelling. So far, not bad. Oh, Joey Nichols says Nubin isn't the kind of athlete you spend a first round pick on at safety. Look at the sourdough scouts going at it. I like it. This is the competitive environment we want inside our draft room. We want people speak with conviction, bang the table. Joey says, if I'm spending a first on a safety, he better have great instincts and better be an incredible athlete. To be honest, the reason why I'm not looking at safety here is because I still believe in Talanoa Hufanga. I understand that there's kind of been some signals out there where it's like, oh, all right, we might be looking for Talanoa Hufanga's replacement. I honestly feel like I still believe enough in Talanoa Hufanga that I feel like I don't want that logjam of Jair Brown, Talanoa Hufanga, potential first round safety. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Oh, Joey's saying Zach Frazier, 2023, only 6 pressures, no sacks allowed, has been in a zone system and has experience at guard as well. 4-time wrestling state. Ooh, okay. All right. Christopher says we have a glaring need at right tackle. Tyler Guyton at right tackle. That's where the Chiefs took advantage of our offense. Ooh. See, so this is my pushback on taking a center here. is that I can get you a center second, third, fourth round. That might not be as high of a caliber of a prospect as Zach Frazier, but could nearly be as effective. So that's my only pushback on taking center early. And you guys know I am a big center advocate. Someone said trade back. Let's take a look. Do they got any offers for me? We could trade back. 31 could definitely be a trade back spot, but I feel like that's too complicated. So, I'm going to have to make the executive decision here. I feel like I've said it for a while now. Oh, we got more scouts banging the table. He says Newbin is a former wide receiver and his Minnesota's all-time record for INT. Tell him. I like the competitive nature of our draft room. I do. This is what I want. This is what I want if I'm a GM. I want all my scouts arguing. I want every single scout screaming at each other of who has the best prospect. That's what I want. So then I can evaluate like who's really about that life. Who's going to fall on the sword for their guy. That's what my draft room would look like. I'm for it. Oof. I mean, he says the pick is Chop, plain and simple. This is my logic right here. I think Leonard Floyd is a great right now type guy. He is going to be playing a pass rush specialist type role. I do believe YGM could definitely be your base down edge. So the part of the issue with Chop is that he might not be a starter. However, we do know that they like to rotate quite a bit on the outside, on the interior. And this is the thing with Chop. Chop is so explosive and he has that elite bend off the edge that I feel like you have to take a shot on that talent. He is raw. He's a bit of a project. However, I do see him being able to come in and contribute as a rookie. And again, I'm also thinking of what if there's an injury? What if something happens? We saw firsthand last year that we could not have enough defensive ends. We could not have enough pass rushers. So that's my mindset, is that these guys rotate enough. And see, the thing is, Drake, I think, was way more of a project than I don't think Drake had the explosiveness that Chop has. That's the difference. I think Drake showed more of that kind of combo. Big Leo could play both sides, but I feel like Chop presents that situation. So I've seen my scouts. I've heard from my scouts, but I have to take this value here. I have to go with the upside. I have to go with a guy who I think could become an impact, have an impact right away. And I know this is what everyone's scared of. They're scared of this. But what I've seen on tape is I've seen Chop Robinson impact and affect games. I saw when I was watching Zach, no, not Zach Center. I was watching Trevor Keegan, left guard for Michigan versus Penn State. They had to change their game plan because of Chop Robinson. They couldn't block him. They had to just run it. So that's what I'm doing. First pick, out the gate, boom. Chop Robinson, baby. Let's go. You guys know I've been looking for that burst, baby. You know I've been looking for that burst. But let's see who's available. Let's see who's available. Ooh, and I like this. Oh, you guys are going to hate me. I'm ready to go defensive line first and second round. I'm fired. I'm fired. Just wait. I've heard a lot about Edgren Cooper. He's been a guy. Listen, right now, I got Rook ahead of Brandon. See, you guys know me too well. You guys know me too well, man. I've been looking for BB. He's the closest thing I got right now to BB. So I had to do it. And I got too much PTSD from last season. We need more edge. We need more rushers. So I'm going to tell you right now, just looking right here, I'm looking at Rook. Rook is my guy. I think Rook, the arrow is pointing up on him. I feel like this is a guy who's very similar to Dolores. Now, we know the 49ers have shown interest in Dolores, and they have had him in for, that would be the smarter pick that would match probably what the 49ers could likely do. But I like Rook more. They're very similar. Very, very, very similar players. Like, to me, it's like 1A, 1B. They are like, they're defensive ends who in the NFL will play on the 3-tech and they will thrive on the 3-tech. That's the way that I look at both of them. For me, I have Rook ahead of Brandon. That's just how I see it right now. But again, it's not a crazy dramatic like gap between the two. It's 1A, it's 1B. Rook is 1A, Dolores is 1B. So that's where I'm currently looking for this pick, because I still believe our defensive line needs more firepower. And again, I have, like, for the pushback on the offensive line, it's just like we have starters right now. We have starters. So who's Dolores? How do you say his last name? Dolores. You know the vibes. I can't pronounce someone's name right until I hear someone else say it. That's just how it works. But looking at the board, we pick at, so we got to do a little bit of projecting out as well. So we're picking at 94. So, Renardo, we could go cornerback. We could go. See, this is my like. I would love to go Mason McCormick center later. Roger Rosengarten is over here. Patrick Paul. Oh yeah, we're going O line later. So as it stands right now, I'm leaning Rook. So let me check the chat. Anyone banging the table? Anyone banging the table, making the case, yelling at me, saying nah, this is who we need. So far, so far. Uh, he can play both. Oh, that's a good point. Where did he go? So part of I haven't watched Bullard, so I can't sit here and say that like he went 48. He went 48. I feel like the value of Chop at 31 is too good. That's why I went that route. But I'm going Rook unless someone can convince me otherwise. All right. One of my sourdough scouts is chiming in. Says you got the opportunity to grab Phillips. He's a stud. Nickelback need filled. Or Edgrin Cooper, best linebacker in the draft, could fill Greenlaw's spot until he returns solid LB3. This is my pushback. Yes, Edgrin Cooper, I've heard many great things. I've heard many great things about him. But just looking at need right now, because part of this early part of the draft is being able to fill some holes. Defensive tackle to me is still a massive hole. And if you can get Rook at 63, the value here is plug and play starting defensive tackle who can do it in the run game, who can rush the passer, and immediately fills that hole that is left by the guy that we let go. You could try to fire me. But I'm like this with Jed York. I'm like this with Jed. I ain't going nowhere. So I feel very confident in my abilities here to make the executive decisions, but you got to convince me. So far, not being convinced yet. And in regards to the nickelback, sure. Yes, he's been checking in. Andrew Phillips been checking in with the Niners. Can play in the slot, can play outside. Not bad. Those run grades, man coverage grades, not looking that all that hot. Zone coverage a little bit better. Obviously fits what the 49ers are looking for. All that good stuff. But I got a defensive line. I got a defensive line to make. Don't you ever compare me. Don't you ever compare me to him. Ever. I'm him. And I think we could potentially go cornerback later. So I'm doing it. We're going Rook, baby. Woo! 49er fans across the nation calling for my job on Twitter instantly. This is how, like, inside the room, might have some scouts yelling at me. They'd be like, what the is this guy doing? I got the entire 49ers content creator base screaming at me, calling for me to be fired. He didn't take an offensive line in the first 2 picks. I'm here for it. See me, bruh. Yes. 2 defensive linemen back to back. Oh, they took Renardo. Son of a gun. they took Renardo. I'm heated. I was angling for my guy Renardo, who could also play safety as well. Dang, they took Malik Washington. They took Patrick Paul. My gosh, my draft plans have been shattered. Now I really am sweating for my job. I am actually concerned, except we have a guard center prospect that I absolutely love. I would definitely consider taking Mason McCormick at 93 right here because I envision him as a center, but he can definitely play left guard. Like that's not a problem. That's not a problem. But you also have Cooper here. You also have Cooper here. Little bit younger than Mason. Little bit younger. I would probably go Cooper Beebe over Mason McCormick at this value because I definitely do think that Cooper is, I mean, he was arguably the best interior offensive lineman in college football last year. So he's an option. We're not going Braylon Trice because we already went defensive end, not going back to the well. Dominic Punai, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's an interesting option because he's one of the more versatile offensive linemen in the class. I think he could play center. I think he could play guard. And he probably fit best most at right tackle. If he were to play tackle. He's he's not super fluid, which is probably why he will be more on the interior. Mahogany is also interesting. Michael Hall fallen. So the initial plan was to try to go cornerback. But let's see. I might go Cooper here. I might go Cooper, a little interior. Based on what we have available, I was really angling for Patrick Paul, who went to the Cowboys. Screw the Cowboys. I was angling for Patrick Paul or Renardo. Draft plans have switched, so that means we have to adjust. Based on what we have and where we're headed, I have to say it's time. It's time. It's time to bring in one of the best offensive linemen in the NCAA last year, one of the most decorated offensive linemen in college football, can play tackle, can play guard. He's a baller. I mean, he can play right tackle, he can play left guard, he can play left tackle. Look, in 2021, he played 734 snaps at left tackle, then 919 left guard. Yeah, we got our guy. It's time. It's time. I'm making this pick in the name of I won't take the credit. I'm going to give the credit to our guy, director of Sourdough Scouts. Kieran went way sooner. All right. So we have gone Chop Robinson, Rook. We got Cooper Beebe. And now we've got some options. I agree. Tackle. So just a second ago, the Twitter streets were calling for my head. They were saying fire Brad Graham, worst general manager since Trent Baalke, 2 defensive linemen in the first. And then they're like, okay, oh, all right. Keep in mind that Aaron Banks is a free agent. Also, on top of that, you know, after next year, Jonathan Feliciano's a free agent. Spencer Burford's a bit of a question mark. So there is a potential that you need to replace both guards, with all the contract stuff coming up, Purdy getting paid. They might not be able to pay Banks. So you have to kind of think ahead a little bit. So I think Twitter is like, oh, we still want to fire him, but a little better. So maybe now might be the time to go safety and go with our guy Sione here. We know the 49ers have shown tons of interest in Sione Vaikai. He could definitely be an option here if we want to add some safety depth. You obviously have the 2 running backs who are pretty solid. Can Cooper play center? I believe he could play center. If you're a guard, you better be able to play center. Cole Bishop is another option at safety. Let's see. We could go tight end. We could go Jarvis Brownlee. I think he's low-key a little bit underrated if we want to go cornerback. Brownlee shows some promise. We got more edge. We know the 49ers have been showing interest in Caden Wallace at tackle, if we want to go tackle here. We know that Smith Wade was in the building recently. We got Luke, Malik Mustafa. But remember, let's see. We got to get a little. So we're going to have 3 picks. We got 124, 132, and 135. So we can make something shake. Right here. Cedric Gray is still on the board. Ooh, Cedric Gray. I might have to go Cedric Gray right here. But we might be able to get him at a value. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. There's some decent prospects still available. We could go safety. I would say Sione Vaikai, Cole Bishop, and where is he? The other guy, Malik Mustafa. I think those guys are all available. You have Cedric Gray, one of the better linebackers available. If I went BPA, I would probably say Cedric Gray is. If you want to go linebacker, I know we were considering linebacker early on. I'd probably go, but based on the board, might be able to get Cedric Gray later. So I might consider safety right here if that's where we want to go, because I think we can get some other cornerbacks a little bit later in these other picks. So I would say safety. Do we go with the popular pick, Sione Vaikai? Do we go Cole Bishop, who shows some promise as well? Or my guy asked, where's Cowing? Cowing feels like he went. Braden, yeah, Cowing went at 116. So we had a bit of a little wide receiver run. Let's see. How do I change? Oh, here we go. So wide receivers not looking great. Looks like we missed out. We missed out on some wide receivers. So I don't think we go wide receiver here. Tight end. Tip, Holker, Bet, like these 4 tight ends, I think are going to be pretty solid tight ends in the NFL. That could be an option. Cornerback wise, I only know these 2. I've seen this name kind of floating around, but I've never watched them. DJ James, I like a lot. I know the 49ers have had formal meeting with him at the combine, and DeCamerion Richardson is kind of who I would be trying to target a little bit later. Josh Newton, Elijah Jones, I really like. So I feel comfortable pushing on cornerback. I mean, I think we have to figure out how to get Cedric Gray, but I think we can wait a little while. If we're going value, it might be safety. So, what are we thinking? Do we want to go safety here? Or do we want to go tight end? And do we want to take Theo? What is what is the room thinking? Get your opinions in here so I don't lose my job. All right? I'm not trying to lose my job. So I need some help because they're on my neck on Twitter. They're saying I don't know how to draft. So I need my scouts help. Help me keep my job. All right. So it feels like we're cool with safety. So I see Vikai, I see Bishop, I see Theo, but like I said, you can kick tight end back a little bit further. Vikai from Vikai was he literally posted at Liberty. Liberty is maybe 10 minutes from my house. Maybe 10 minutes. Ooh, Joey says Bishop or Mustafa. Oh, argue. Who's it going to be? Vikai, Bishop, Mustafa. I need to drop it in the chat. We're drilling down to 3 options. We're drilling down to 3 options. Vikai, Bishop, Mustafa. We're targeting safety right here. Someone that has starting upside, could fill in depth. Please, someone spell it phonetically, and that will help me. we're going off Mustafa on name value alone. All right. All right. I have my hotel card here from this. This is how they do it in the NFL. I have my hotel card here from the combine. So purple is Vikai, and I'm going to go white is Bishop. This is how we're doing it. Yep. This is how they do it in the NFL. Don't believe me? Go argue with the wall. Let's see what we get. We pulled up white. It was between the 2 Utah kids. We're going Cole Bishop. Oh, snap. They're like, how did they come up with that pick? fire his ass. He's fired. All right. But that does mean Theo Johnson's still on the board. That does mean Cedric Gray still on the board. Screw it. BPA, Cedric Gray, come through. And then, shoot, do we just go Theo? This is how all the general managers do it. We go off flipping a hotel card, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's see what we got. I like it. We got some good players left. Do we want to go cornerback here? Do we want to go cornerback here? We might miss out. We might miss out on corner. We might miss out on corner. Let's see. I really like. Hey, that would have been my pick, but we left it up to the card. Hey, man, the card, you never know. The card, you never know. So we got cornerbacks potentially. If we want, we could go tight end right here. Because I don't think there's any guarantee that if we do want to go Theo, that he will last. Six, 264 pounds. That's a big guy. Makes his money from the inline spot as a versatile blocker and pass catcher in heavy formations. You know what? We need it. Let's do it. I think Tip is definitely an option. But I think if I can get a guy who can be a little bit more versatile, that's where we're going to go. We could also double up and potentially go Tip later. But let's see what the board is now looking like. Ooh. All right. I'm seeing guys like Josh Newton, Isaac Garendo, Tyrone Hooper. We already got linebackers, so I don't think we need to go there. Isaac Garendo might be the pick right here, though. If we want to get some running back, Vidal is an interesting option. Quite a bit of production with Temple, smaller back. Let's see. Again, we don't have cornerback, and we punted and we lost out on Richardson. We lost out on Cam Hart and DJ James. I would say Newton might be our last salvageable cornerback. Ooh, no, we got Elijah Jones. Ooh, they got Elijah Jones late. Then I might just wait on Elijah Jones. I like Elijah Jones a lot. Cephas, Bub Means. We're really thin at wide receiver. They're saying we need cornerback. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Josh Newton here. I think based on the board, based on the positions that we've drafted, still want to get some cornerback depth in here. I feel like it's time. We need 6 more defensive linemen. I was hoping for 7 more defensive linemen, to be honest. All right. Let's see who's going to be a super sleeper. Oh, all right. I am going to go cornerback. I've been punting. I've waited long enough. I'm getting Elijah Jones. I like Elijah Jones. I feel like he'd fit really well in the zone scheme. Super smooth athlete, tall, 6'2". I like it. Do we go with my Cephas pick? He says, I pray next week goes better than this. We in danger. What are you talking about? This is gold. We're gonna look back at this mock draft in 3 years and be like, bro, really cooked. He was ahead of his time. We didn't even know. We didn't even know he's ahead of his time. Let's see. Who's going to be a super sleeper? Is Aeneas available? I don't think he is. Or else I'd take him. But I like Cephas. I feel like he can be a Juwan Jennings type. A little bit more athletic Juwan Jennings. Let's see. We don't really have a wide receiver. We don't have running back either. And we know they're going to take a running back. I don't know if I like any of these guys, though. I might just have to push. Just might have to push running back to undrafted free agent. Frank Gore Jr., undrafted free agent, come through. I'm gonna go Bub. We're going Bub. Going Bub. And to finish off the draft, that will definitely get me a pay raise with the San Francisco 49ers. The draft that will save us and bring us the 6th ring. Let's see. Boom. It's going to give me a solid. Oh, that's not looking good. They didn't like my Rook pick. All right. They said go Max Melton over Rook. Nah. Oh, they didn't like these picks. They liked these ones. Didn't like Bub. Gave me, what are these? What are these awards? C plus, top 87% of mock drafts. That's right. You heard it here. Top 87. I saved us. We are back. We are back. All right. Drop your grades in the chat. Drop your grades in the chat for this mock draft. This was definitely, I would say, the most entertaining mock draft for me personally. I had a lot of fun with this one. Chop, Rook, to me, defensive line instant upgrade. Rook, day one starter. Chop, situational pass rusher. Cooper Beebe could definitely challenge for guard spot, right or left, potentially even center. Um, Cole Bishop comes in. Could have been Vikai, a literal flip of the hotel card. Could have went either way. Could have went either way. We get Cedric Gray in the 4th round. They gave it a C minus. I would give it phenomenal value right there. Theo Johnson in the 4th. Josh Newton in the 5th. Back-to-back cornerbacks. I don't even think I realized I just went back-to-back quarterbacks, but it works. Wide receiver Bub Means, running back Jawar Jordan. I would probably give it a C plus as well. I would probably give it a C plus. I'd probably give it a C plus. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. C plus is fair. This isn't some of our best work. This isn't the draft card's best work, but we had fun along the way, and I think that's what mattered most. That was honestly my main goal today, just to have fun with this. I'll probably try to actually put some real time into a real mock draft here pretty soon, but I just wanted to have fun with this one. I felt like the war room was pretty solid today. Was pretty solid, pretty on point. I appreciate the arguing and the bickering, and yeah, I might get fired off this. But I think we're gonna look back at this in a couple years and be like, he was ahead of his time. But to be honest, if that's really how the board plays out, the 49ers got hella options. I feel like PFF finally, I felt like I said, I haven't done this. I haven't done a mock on PFF since they updated their draft rankings. And I feel like this is the best rankings that I've seen from any of the simulators. So I felt like their rankings are on point. And I think you can see though, like we could get some pretty quality players early, mid, and late. So what I'm really excited about this draft is basically that there's so many options available to us right now that I think the 49ers could go in multiple different directions. And I think because of that, they could trade up, they could trade back, they could move up and down all over the place and just go after guys that they've targeted. But to be honest, if they went back to back defensive line, I would love it personally, because my number one goal, while everyone is so focused on the offensive line, and rightfully so, I do want to upgrade, the offensive line for the future. But I want that defensive line. I need the defensive line back. I need it back. I need it on 2009 levels. 2019 levels. Because I think, in the same logic and theory as Kyle Shanahan, is you build that defensive line, it can help you across the whole team. And we saw in the Super Bowl, when the defensive line was cooking, they did a phenomenal job of keeping us in that game and giving us a real shot at winning it. It was just some other unfortunate situations that went down that was the reason why we lost, and it wasn't because of our defensive line. They actually played pretty well. So hey, This mock draft could absolutely get me fired in 2 years from now if it doesn't work out, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. And I'm willing to take on the heat from the 49er fans who would absolutely crucify me for taking 2 defensive linemen in the first 2 rounds. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It could go either way, though. It really could. It could go either way. No legacy players. Sorry. We decided that we're going with Frank Gore Jr. As an undrafted free agent. That's our legacy player. Tariq Owens and Frank Gore Jr. as UDFAs. They're going to be in rookie mini camp. So rejoice. Rejoice. But that's the first round. I look forward, or not the first round. That's this particular mock draft. I look forward to being fired by 49ers Twitter after executing this draft. And this is my message. We will survive this. We will be stronger for it. Our team will rally, and all of these players will fill a hole that will just catapult us to the next level. Believe, believe, believe. We have a plan, no stone unturned, and we will have success. You could try to fire me all you want. 2 defensive line in the first 2 rounds. We cooking, baby. I know. I can't wait. I can't wait till the real draft. I'm so over. I'm not going to lie. I think just we all have off-season fatigue. We all have off-season fatigue. We want football in our lives. We miss football. But then we're like, I'm kind of just like with the football that we have in front of us. Like, I do appreciate the draft, but I do feel super behind on a lot of things with it. Not typically to my standards. Shout out the Super Bowl. And hey, man, we're just trying to get through it. And we're trying to get there. This next week is absolutely going to drag on. We're going to see a ton of mock drafts. I still need to do like a legit mock draft for this week. Definitely tired of the BA rumors as well, because unfortunately a function of the page is sharing what people are saying about the 49ers. And unfortunately, a lot of people are saying a lot of things about the 49ers right now. And so it makes it an annoyance. But thankfully, we are a week away from being able to have our answers in front of us. And if we get through the draft and BA's still on the squad, he is going to get the payday. And all of this off-season rumors is exactly that. So we're close, guys. We're absolutely close. But make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. Appreciate everyone tapping in. Hopefully you guys had some fun. The whole point of today was to be more, I would say, entertaining than anything else. Just to have some fun, mess around. We literally flipped a hotel card to make one of our picks. That's how serious of a mock this was. But hopefully you guys at least enjoyed calling for my head to be fired. I'm here for it. I stand on business. You don't like my picks, you call for my head to be fired. It comes with the territory. But I appreciate all you guys. Grab your cookies on the way out. It's been a blast. Appreciate all you. What mock draft sim is my favorite? Probably PFF, but there's no perfect one. But I would say PFF's the cleanest. I would say PFN's better with trades. Yeah, They're okay. I haven't found one that I just absolutely love yet. They're all right, but you already know what to do. Smash that like button. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.